What's going on, people, and welcome to a brand new episode of Too Many Games and Not Enough Time, the podcast where I get to speak to incredible guests across the globe. I'm your host with the most, the one and only Mr. Midas. Thank you so much for joining me. Now, I keep you a buck. I say it a lot on the podcast. I'm super excited to speak to this person. I'm super gassed. Listen! I am so gassed for my guest today. It's very rarely that I have to push a guest to come onto the podcast. I've been trying for years to get this lady on the podcast, but I am honored that she is here because I have my favorite cosplayer in the whole world. Not just the area, Craig. She is a bad waifu, but not your waifu. She is a creator. She is the CEO and founder of the Feminist Chronicles. Jessica, welcome to Too Many Games and Not Enough Time.
Wow, thank you so much. The hype is real, man. That was perfect. Thank you. I'm so welcome to be on your show.
I'm not even gassing. Like, you are literally my favorite cosplayer. Like, you don't miss, no matter what you're doing. If it's Naruto, if it's Marvel's Black Cat, if it's just all on fire. Like, you are such a talented cosplayer. Like, so I just have to give you the props. So people need to know about you.
Thank you. You're far too kind. I really appreciate it. But I really do appreciate it. Yeah, every cosplay look that I do, I just pour my interest and my passion into characters that resonate, with me. So I really appreciate that you recognize the passion that I put into my work. Thank you.
Yeah, you're sick. Like, you do this thing. All right, let's talk some video games. We're going to talk a bit about cosplay later, but we're going to talk a bit about video games. Now, I'm a gamer and I've got quite a big array of games that really stick with me and I'm passionate about, like the Final Fantasies, the Zeldas, and games that grab me and grip me. And there's one series for me that never really grabbed me, and I've never understood why. And people love it with so much passion, and it's Kingdom Hearts. Like, Kingdom Hearts fans are crazy. Like, the lore in Kingdom Hearts makes no sense to me. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck are rocking Sephiroth. Like, why has Cloud got a wing? Like, I am so baffled. How is Aladdin in the same world as Sephiroth? Like, what is going on? So,
understood.
How did your love of Kingdom Hearts even start?
Okay, so first of all, I just want to say that, I just want to preface that I definitely understand your confusion, because us within the fan base, we are still confused to this day of what the hell is going on. But my love of Kingdom Hearts started when the game first came out. I want to say Kingdom Hearts 1 came out in 2002. Don't quote me on that. But when I first heard the theme song by Utada Hikaru, I was mesmerized. It was one of the most beautiful, and capturing, breathtaking songs that I've ever heard. But I actually didn't get to play Kingdom Hearts until a few years later, probably around, like, I want to say 2007. And when I started playing the game, it was a wrap from there. I love RPGs. I love JRPGs. But I feel like this game, it combined my love of Disney and it combined my love of, well, you know what? Let me correct that, because I'm going back a few years. Kingdom Hearts I played before I played Final Fantasy. Okay. Yeah. So basically,
so you was just like bare spiky hair guys. I don't know who these spiky hair guys are, but there's bare spiky hair guys with the Disney guys.
Yeah, exactly. It introduced me to what Final Fantasy had to offer. But as soon as I played the game, I was just like taken with it. The soundtrack, the character designs. And for me, Kingdom Hearts 1, there was a lot of mystery and intrigue behind the storyline and the plot. things just seemed really like magical, ethereal, far out. You didn't really know where the story was going. And I think that's what drew me to the storyline initially, is what the hell is going on here, and why is this game so goddamn beautiful? So yeah.
What's funny though, I feel like that theme of what the hell's going on there hasn't left. Like, everyone's still like, what the hell's going on? Like, when I saw the latest trailer, what cracked me up is everyone was like, why is his feet small? And I'm like, listen, the world of Kingdom Hearts is so complex. The question you're asking is why his feet is small. I still want to know how all of this happened. But that's probably why it didn't resonate with me, because I played Final Fantasy VII before. So by the time I went into it, I was like, why the Ross is Mickey Mouse with Cloud? Like, I just couldn't, my brain just couldn't comprehend what's going on. And I feel like Kingdom Hearts was a lot of people's first JRPG, and like, it was kind of ahead of its time, because if you think about the real-time combat now, like Final Fantasy 16's just come out and it's all real-time combat, and they've kind of leaned on that, and they've always had that formula from Kingdom Hearts. So proper 6 series. But yeah, I'm glad you don't know what's going on, and it's not just me and making me feel like
well, you know what, I feel like, you know, and I don't want to, I'm not going to say I watch every interview, I read up on everything about, you know, the creation of Kingdom Hearts, but I feel like in the beginning they probably didn't think that far ahead of where the storyline can go. And so I feel like at this point, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who feels like that. The story is just completely convoluted, and I mean, I finished Kingdom Hearts 3. I still don't know what's going on.
I love it.
You know,
I'm feeling good. That's not just me, Jess, because I would have been super fried. All right, so you actually did something that no one's ever been able to do. Yeah, you actually got me to watch Naruto. Like, people have been onto me for Naruto for years, and I was like, no. And then we started talking, and I started watching it. I've got back box sets and stuff, and you was like, yes, you was actually able to accomplish something there, and you've got incredible cosplay from Naruto. I want to ask you, what is an anime game? Because you're a big anime fan. What's an anime game that you actually really enjoy? It can be old school, or it could be something new school.
An anime game, you know, that's a very interesting question, because I feel like I don't know if I've played that many anime games.
Because most of them are trash. That's why. Keep your buck.
Exactly.
Most of them are trash.
You know, I like to be in it for the storyline, and so I don't feel like a lot of games that I've played that are more anime related, they focus more heavily on storytelling. Kakarot was okay, but I'm not going to say I played it through, because I didn't play Kakarot through. But it's just a rehash.
Do you know the problem with Kakarot is?
Yeah.
We've watched that 100 times.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, it's repetitive.
Yeah, so it's like, it's like, just give us a new story. Like, give us all of the characters, give us Trunks, give us everyone, and just give us a new story, because
something fresh.
It's not like we've watched it once. We've watched it 15 times, fam.
Yeah, that's exactly the point I was gonna make. We've seen it before, so it's just a rehash of the original storyline. But I have a little bit of an outlier here, or maybe a game that not a lot of people care about. Style Savvy. And anybody know what Style Savvy is? It's a game that came out for 3DS, and it's a fashion simulation game. You simulate that you're the owner of a fashion boutique, and the characters are anime. It's a Japanese game, and the characters are anime characters. But as far as like anime games that are related to actual anime shows, I've got nothing.
So it's funny, because like, I speak about this a lot because I love anime as well, and there's a few anime games that I love, but not many. And my favorite anime game is the Persona series. And then, but realistically, that was a game that they turned into an anime. But it
Okay.
wasn't like it wasn't an anime first, but it's the best anime game I've ever played. But yeah, Style Savvy, I see you. Yeah, you're a fashionista. It makes
Yeah.
sense. Like you're always on point, looking your fashion on
Yeah, I
fleek. So
appreciate that.
I get you. All right, so another game from your childhood that you really loved was Grand Theft Auto 3. Grand Theft Auto 3 is up there it's weird. When I talk about my favorite games ever, I don't mention Grand Theft Auto 3 that much, but Grand Theft Auto 3 was one of the greatest games. And do you know why Grand Theft Auto 3 was one of the greatest games? That was the first time I played a game and all I wanted to do was listen to the radio station.
Listen,
that radio station was better than real radio. Get me? Like I can tell you what they were saying up to today. You get me?
The soundtrack lives rent free in my head.
Rent free
I'm
brain.
always always replaying it.
So gas. So are you excited for GTA 6 and what would you want from it?
Okay, so first of all, I've been waiting for this game for the past probably 10 plus years. I've always wanted to see them take it back to a modern day Vice City. So I'm super excited and super stoked. And then also being a Florida native who has born in Miami, has lived in Miami. I want to see them recreate the culture, the ambiance, everything that South Florida has to offer. I want to see them recreating it in the game. So I'm super, super excited about it. And your second question was, what do I want to see in the game?
Yeah. What's something? Because listen, if Rick Ross ain't in the game, we're rioting. Hey, I want to see Rick Ross's belly. I want to see the tattoos. I want to see him rubbing his stomach. If there's got a mission that I'm rubbing Rick Ross's belly, I'm out. I'm done. Like I want my money back.
Fair enough.
I want a refund if I don't get to rub Rick Ross's belly. Pause.
Yeah,
Straight.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm there with you. I need authenticity, and I need to feel fully immersed in that authenticity. For me, an issue that I typically have with Hollywood when they portray Miami is that they never get the accents right. So if you see someone in a Hollywood movie that's portraying themselves to be, let's say, someone who is of Hispanic descent in Miami, their accent is wrong. There's a certain, and I can't do it, but there's a certain accent that Hispanic, Spanish speaking people in Miami have that you can't match that anywhere else in the world. It's specific to Miami. And nobody ever gets it right. So if they can get that accent right, as well as the AAVE, just how people talk in Miami, it's the language for me. I need it to feel real. Like somebody actually went down there and researched the dialects that are specific to the area and the region. That's something that I'm going to be a stickler for. So I'm really looking forward to see how they execute that.
Listen, you saying that to me is giving me PTSD.
Why?
I'm West Indian, like family from Jamaica and Barbados. Okay. And the Jamaican accent, no one can get it right. Listen, when I watch how Stella got her groove back, I wanted to smash up my whole TV. Like, I don't know what Tay Diggs was doing. I don't know where he digged up that accent from the basement.
Right.
But yeah, like that weren't popping. So I definitely feel you there. And I feel like one of the things that happens a lot is people just kind of have an ignorance that every state's the same. And there's a huge difference from a Miami to LA to Atlanta.
New
like
York,
every
right.
place has New York. They've got such a different vibe, and
exactly.
Hopefully like they really tack onto the vibe and the actual vibe, not just taking the Mickey out of it, because Rockstar are dope at doing the taking the Mickey out of it that we want to see, but we want to see the authentic side as well, like you're saying.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, that's a big, so you already know exactly the energy that I'm coming with. It has to be done correctly or it's not doing it for me. But from what I've seen in the trailer, the aesthetics they look on point. They look like something that you would see in Miami. Obviously, you know, people were doing videos of side by sides with TikToks and you know, viral videos that coincide with the trailer. So aesthetically, it looks great. Sonically, I need it to match. I need the artists that they have on the radios to match. You know, Rockstar does their thing, so I'm not too concerned about that.
Out of anyone you can put your faith in, it's them. Listen, Jess, when I saw the girl twerking on the car, I was like, yes, I'm there.
You know what? It wasn't even it was. I can curse on this, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. It wasn't even her ass that was shaking that got it for me, because we haven't seen Grand Theft Auto girls with that much bravado, I should say.
Ain't no one on GTA had junk on their trunk like that before.
No, and moving like that. But it was the hair for me. The way her hair was flowing in the wind, the curls. I was like, oh, they're about to give us something that we're not ready for.
Well, just even down to that shot on the beach, and you got to see the different type of black women. Like, it was so
the body
sick to
types,
be like,
the hair.
Yes, if anyone's gonna do it right, it's gonna be them.
Right.
We've been lucky enough for the last generation and the current generation to have some incredible games. Like, some of the games that stand out for me recently is Marvel Spider-Man 2, incredible, and I got to shout out your Black Cat cosplay. Woo!
Thank you.
God of War Ragnarok, one of the things that are really important to both of us, which is Star Wars Jedi Survivor. What is a game of the last 5 years that really impacted you? Something that you really enjoyed and you was like, wow, I didn't know gaming could do this.
Wow, that's that question, I feel like, puts me on the spot, because
so it doesn't have to be your favorite game, just something that impacted you. So I don't want to know your best game, just something of the last 5 to 10 years that when you think about gaming, you're like, that was something special.
And does it have to be a game that recently came out within those years, or just a game that I played within that time?
Yeah, listen, if you was just playing Kingdom Hearts 3, or you was playing Sims 3 in the last 10 years, then give me that. But just something in the last 5 to 10 years that you played that when you think about it, you're like, wow, that's something special.
Okay, so I'm going to take it to a game that came out 20 plus years ago, which is Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2. I'm very late to the party, but I recently just started playing both of those games in the last 2 years. And so I feel like it's a game that I missed out on when it came out originally, or, you know, I could have played it sooner, but here I am. But I feel like for me, those games gave me a lot more depth and a lot more understanding of, how do I want to say this? The complexity that Star Wars can have in the universe. When we watch some of the Star Wars films, you know, it's
can be quite placid.
It's simple. Yeah. It's simple. You have the light side, you have the dark side. But with Knights of the Old Republic, especially with 2, the second game, the Sith Lords, they gave you a lot more. They gave you a lot more variation, and I feel like it reflected more of real life, where you're not always going to fall completely light side. It's not this polarized.
Well, life isn't black and white, is it?
Exactly.
Like, we're all like multicolored. Even though you don't like wearing colors, but we're all multicolored.
You see my house.
We're like multicolored thingy. Do you know what? I haven't played them, you know. So, but they're remastering and remaking. So as soon as they.
Let's hope they can get it together with that, because
when they do the remake,
bad news, right?
Yeah, I'm 100%, because like I love Star Wars, and I feel like a lot of the Star Wars games are trash, and that's why I love Jedi Survivor. Jedi Survivor was really, really good. It actually made, like, I really like Cal as a pro tag. It made me feel like I was in Star Wars. So, and Old Republic is, anytime I talk to anyone about Star Wars, they're like, no, that is the Star Wars game that made everything.
Yeah. I mean, again, I have Jedi Survivor, but I jump so much between other video games, and most of the time I'll pick a retro video game over a newer video game. I haven't even touched my Jedi Survivor because I've been so enthralled with Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2. But I highly suggest, like, as a Star Wars, I know you're a big Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
Like,
listen.
Come on
my
now.
saber and them
Come
thing
on
there,
now.
hear me?
Come on
Draw
now.
for my saber.
I love to see it. Yes, it just adds so much more lore to the universe. I mean, we're taking it back 4,000, I believe 4,000 years prior to Phantom Menace. So
yeah, it's also the first time. It's the first time you see a yellow lightsaber as well, isn't it? And yellow lightsabers is my favorite color. That's my color.
Really?
Yeah. Yellow lightsaber. That's me all day long. I love that.
Yep.
Jess, we're only a short form podcast. We're running out of time. The time goes so quick. I could talk to you all day. But something that I want to speak to you about before we leave, you are really into the whole... no, it's a question. And then I'm going to link it to an answer. So are you into horror games? Because I know you love vampires. I know you love that kind of horror aesthetic, but are you actually into horror games? This is something I've always wanted to know.
No, I'm not. Absolutely not. And yeah, that's the funny thing about it. I love dark aesthetic. I do dabble in, horror movies, but I'm more of a Halloween girl. I like the lighthearted, the Morticia Addams, the comedy, the romance, the romance in some of the darker, I guess forms of media. But when it comes to video gaming, I like to have a good time. I like to get into a good storyline. I want to have some laughs. I want to, feel warm and fuzzy. Horror games, they bring my anxiety to a level that I just can't handle it. So no,
do you know
I'm not a fan.
As soon as I said, Raj, you play horror games, your face was like,
no.
Like your face said it all. Your face was like, that's not me. Do not bring that nonsense around me. I am not interested. It said it all. Yep. Do you know what I find really funny? Vampires are so a huge part of media, yeah? Such a huge part of media. Everything from Twilight to Interview with a Vampire to like literally so big. But there's not really any good vampire games. I wondered why that, like, what do you think about the whole being a vampire that doesn't work in games?
Well, you know what? Because I don't play horror games, I don't even know.
You're like, I don't even know.
I don't even know what game.
I didn't even know if there was vampire games because I don't even play them things, Midas.
But that's a good question, that you bring up. There should be somebody out there that should give us a 5-star, vampire thriller. I think when it comes down to it, the storyline just has to be, legit. It's got to be a good storyline that draws people in. Well, I mean, The Last of Us technically is a vampire. No, not vampire. Those are zombies. Sorry. Vampires.
But it's funny you said that. Look, we're in sync, Jess. We're in sync because I was literally thinking I would love someone like Naughty Dog to take on a vampire story because they're so good at doing like that proper strong narrative. Could you imagine like a really strong narrative around why this person is a Dracula in their lineage and all of that? That would be sick.
Well, I did see that we're getting a Blade game that's supposed to be coming out. So that looked really, really good. So maybe we will get our vampire video game that
I didn't even think about Blade. That's good. And there was a vampire game that came out last year, but I didn't even think the reviews were super great. All right. I'm going to put you on the spot before we leave. Once again, I've known you for a while. You are super humble. You are super talented. When I said you are my favorite cosplayer in the world, I weren't just gassing you. You actually are. I think your cosplay is incredible.
Thank you.
2 quick questions for you. One, what would you say is one of your favorite cosplays? I'm not going to ask you exactly your favorite cosplay because I know that's going to be too hard. And just really quickly, what advice would you give someone who would love to get into cosplay?
Okay. So my favorite cosplay, I feel like it always changes throughout, the years. But right now, I'd have to say Catwoman and Black Cat are my two top ones right now. Only because they're so, especially Catwoman, it's really easy to do. I always feel 100 when I wear those costumes. And I feel like in this moment in my life, I'm feeling like a Selena Kyle or a Felicia Hardy. So I would have to say those two are my favorite.
And they're
But
both black and
yeah,
white. That
yep,
sums up your whole
they've got my
personality.
call. Yep, yep,
They got your colors. All right, so
they've
really
got my
quickly,
aesthetic.
if someone wanted to get into cosplay, what would be a quick piece of advice you give them?
um, I guess my first piece of advice, or my only piece of advice, just getting into it, is don't be afraid. I feel like a lot of the times when people are apprehensive about cosplaying, it's their first time cosplaying, they're embarrassed. They're just like, what are people going to think about me? What if I don't look like this in my costume? And it's not about that. It's about having fun. It's about throwing yourself into a character that resonates with you or that just brings you joy. And keep that in mind. If you're cosplaying, do it for the thrill of it, do it for the joy,
I love
and
that.
don't be embarrassed.
I love that. Do it for the thrill of it and do it for the joy.
Yeah.
Just thank you so much for joining me. It was amazing talking to you. If the people are feeling your vibe, they want to see more cosplay, they want to talk to you about Star Wars, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram and Threads at Feminist Chronicles. I'm also on Tumblr, where I don't really chat much, but I shit post a lot. So Feminist hyphen Chronicles. You can find me on Tumblr. And no, I deleted my Twitter because I'm not rocking with that. So those are my handles.
That is her handles. And thank you for joining us and staying to the end of the video. Once again, I really appreciate Jessica coming on. She is super talented, and so are so many of you. So if you've got a specific guest that you would love to see me talk to on Too Many Games, let me know in the comments below. How do you feel about horror games? Are you a shook one like Jess, or are you playing horrors all the time? And what are you lot feeling about GTA 6? Do you saying they have to get the accents right, or do you think the accents are going to be like the Jamaican accents? Totally trash. I've been Mr. Midas. She's been the Feminist Chronicles. You've been amazing, and we out of here. Peace.